Bosch is based here in Blage since 14 years, and of course each location has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage we are having is that we are one of the big employers in that region, and therefore we can attract a lot of employees from that region to work for us. On the other hand, as you pointed out, of course it's also a challenge to find talents and to have incentives to attract young, ambitious talents for our location. And we know that young people are looking for employers which are offering, let's say, a good working atmosphere. They also focus more on how the leaders treat them. And of course, most important, I think, is the challenges in the job and the career opportunities. And therefore, I think we can offer all these points. For us, it's important that we have the first contact to these ambitious talents, so that we can show to them what we can offer. And here we have several activities, we have personal marketing, and of course we join forces with our colleagues in Cluj or Timișoara to present ourselves as Bosch in Romania. For people who decided to work with us and maybe relocate to Blage or the surroundings, we have a program in place, Living in Blage. And here we also support as a company a huge variety of activities, going to the gym or having, let's say, access to library, and of course also other cultural events, like concerts you mentioned. Unfortunately last year not, but hopefully when times become normal, this is possible again. Yes, and therefore I think it's important that we as Bosch are one of the important factors promoting the cultural development also of such a smaller city like Blage. Still, I think it's attractive. Of course, the majority are Romanian, and we have a couple of foreigners working here in that location, mainly expatriates, because we are still a young plant with 14 years, and therefore we needed support, technical support and managerial support from other Bosch locations to help with this very strong growth. And we have expatriates from Czech Republic, for example, and of course Germany. Of course I have to admit that my father was the director of a vocational school in Bamberg. Therefore, from my parents, I'm by default convinced about this concept, and in Germany it's a very successful concept. Why it's successful? Because first of all, some people have more practical talents than only theoretical ones, and for those people it's important to combine theoretical knowledge and practical application of that knowledge in daily work, and this is a powerful source of learning, to have that combination. Second, I think it's future-proof in a way that people can still go to university. Of course, taking the evening classes, and then still can go to university, maybe with even a much stronger background, because they have already practical experience in a company and they learned how it works. And maybe the third point is, and this is also important, that people going into this education know from the very beginning that, assuming that the grades are all right, that they have a good opportunity to start a career with Bosch and to join our company as soon as they finish the school. Therefore, I think very good reasons to go for that way if you are a person with practical talents. This has already some history. I think we started in 2013 with the first activities. At that time with a partner in Alba Iulia. Meanwhile, we opened our own laboratories to offer practical experience and teaching to these students, to these pupils. And since 2019 we have our own training center here, and in collaboration with the local school we built up this dual education here in Bosch. I think last year we had about 25% of the pupils to start with us. I have to admit, this is not our target number. Yeah, I would be disappointed if we cannot raise this number beyond the 50% mark. Let's see, ambitious goals. It's important to have, because I think we gradually implement changes and improvements to this concept, and we are still working on that, and I'm pretty sure this will be even more attractive in the future. Yes, we have a training center, and we have a certain time share for these students to stay with us, and we use that time to teach them the skills, more the practical skills necessary for that profession. We have electricians and mechanics as a major professions. We also had some tool makers, but the majority of the pupils join electricians and mechanics. And for those professions we show them how it works in practice, and therefore we use the training center. They are not working in the line, in production, but in this, let's say, environment already. They get their first idea about what does it mean to be a Bosch employee. Yeah? And this is maybe also important to identify that they are students, but somehow related already to this company and that brand name. It was really a difficult time, in particular because more or less all the industry had a significant reduction in business activities after the first quarter last year, and that was that dramatic that the normal tools were not sufficient to cope with such a decrease of business activities. As Bosch, we try to keep jobs. Yeah, we try to do everything to survive such a crisis. Yeah, maintaining the workforce to be able also, when recovery starts, to serve our customers again. And we have jobs which require certain training, qualifications, and this is an investment we do in our employees, and of course we don't want to let them go. How to achieve that goal? Yeah? And we are very thankful that the Romanian government also introduced some tools to support these activities. We had Chômage Technik and Kurzarbeit. We used these tools, and I think it was a good balance between public support, company support, and of course support from the employees, but because also the employees contributed by accepting these measures and also accepting a certain, let's say, disadvantage on their side. Therefore, we are very happy that we found such a compromise situation which is good for the majority of the employees, and we can keep all our workforce. There are some jobs which could be easily done remotely, and there's some other jobs like working in a production line which is hardly possible to work a telework or home office. You have to be in the production line. Therefore we had a combination. We have jobs which requires presence on site. Of course, for them we introduced a lot of measures to increase the protection as much as possible, like wearing masks. We are very strict on that one. We also had process confirmations. That means we regularly checked whether all the rules we applied were kept. And I think this is one of the success factors of that location, that we had nearly no negative impact inside of the company. And we think that's a result of all the measures and also the discipline of the employees to adhere to these measures. On the other hand, we have some, let's say, office jobs, which could be done from at home. We had a period of time where most of the employees were at home, but this is not a sustainable situation. And now we have a balance between home office and working on site. Also, employees want to have the exchange again, meeting their colleagues, having discussions face to face. Now we have a situation where we still have a significant level of home office. On the other hand, we have already, let's say, a significant share of employees in the offices back. Maybe coming to the measures we implemented also for protecting our employees. We have a canteen, a newly built canteen, but to reduce the number of people and to increase the space, this canteen is only available for our operators. The indirect employees are eating at their desks and keeping the distance to each other. And I think that such measures are important to make sure that we have this virus under control. Of course, we had other standard measures like temperature checks at the gate. On-boarding procedures may be important. That means if someone was more than 6 days not in the office, we required a quick test. And we used our medical center, which is outside of the plant, but only 200 meters from here. And here we had the opportunity to run quick tests, and we offered that to all employees who were kind of absent for 6 days for holiday or whatever reason. And then we had the opportunity to make sure that we have, let's say, the best control possible to mitigate the impact from COVID.